Okay, so let's get started with today's video. This is the Hybrid War 2 Episode 2, where I'm going to be introducing two more hybrids and some more information about my first hybrid, Locke, who, as I've gathered information, Goji guy made a hybrid yesterday as of the 26th of March 2026. It made a video of making the best monkey hybrid, and it used about 70% the same DNA I used in my first Locke video. Also, information about my first Locke video, I am going to be reposting it, but with my current style of videos, with my new logo and the way to post it better. Now, let's get into my hybrid. My new one. The Trudon Rex 2.0. He is a dinosaur. Well, technically it's asexual. But, yeah. So, let's get into it. Things you might notice is his forearm is very thick, which is very unusual for most dinosaurs. Usually they thin out near their hands, but on this guy, nope. You also notice his long tail. And you notice that he has horns on him, which aren't really horns, they're more of crests from bony plate structures in the skull. Now, let's get into why he has a long tail. I didn't care if he had a long tail or a short tail, but it's from the whiptail lizard. Which, the whiptail lizard is because we need the whiptail lizard for the asexual reproduction. Now, you might look at the Trudon Rex's thighs and think they're abnormally thick. That is because of the Giganotosaurus DNA that we have added so it can jump and sprint faster. You may also see that it still has sickle claws, even though it's massive. And how we solve that problem is we add Spinosaurus DNA so it can walk on all fours and jump bipedally. But since every upside has a downside, the spine of my hybrid started to get a little bumpy, which is fine. It doesn't really affect the dinosaur that much, but you know. Also, you may notice that it has fangs and fang slits in the bottom of its jaw. That is because of the spitting cobra. I am not saying that this 10 to 20 feet long dinosaur could spit venom. I am saying that if it bit into another dinosaur, it could inject venom. Now, a lot of people would use pig DNA for the immune system, but since every upside has a downside, their dinosaur's structure in the tail and legs would become deformed if they used pig DNA. So what I'm doing is I'm using ostrich DNA for the immune system, which is what makes the arms shoulders go back in that position. As we see the bony plates on the top of the Trudon Rex, that is from the Ceratosaurus, I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right. I'll spell it on screen about now. But that also has a downside. It makes the skull shape more muscly, which I don't know if that would affect it that much because it's average size, but I would have liked the head to be a little smaller at the jaw area to fit more with the spitting cobra. And in the original Troodon Rex that I made a year ago, it had Therizinosaurus claws that had iron in them to reinforce them. Now that I've seen GojiCenter's video, I know that that's bad. So, it still has Therizinosaurus claws, but that's mainly for length, added with the Spinosaurus claws, making them a little longer than the Spinosaurus claws, so it can dig in dirt. I don't know why that would be useful, but since it has the brain of a velociraptor, because of the Troodon DNA, which isn't a valid species, I don't know why, because we only have one fossil, I know. By the way, it might become a valid species once again, but as of now, no. So, we add the Velociraptor DNA instead of the Troodon, even though I would have liked Troodon. But with the Velociraptor DNA, maybe it could throw sand in its opponent's eyes and then ambush them. Also, if you notice the egg drawing right next to the Troodon Rex, it is very large, which is because of the Kiwi DNA. So basically, when the Troodon Rex gets pregnant, the egg pushes its organs out of the way. And when it gives birth, its ribs literally break. That paired with the asexual reproduction and the African killfish, which would allow the Troodon Rex to grow very rapidly. So, this dinosaur can reproduce asexually, which means that there's only one of them can reproduce many over a short period of time, because the eggs are massive. So when the baby Troodon Rex is born, it's about 50% grown size. Paired with the whiptail lizard DNA, it would grow very rapidly. You might also notice the bony plates on the Troodon Rex's back. Those are from the Ankylosaurus, but they have slimmed down because of the smaller, thinner dinosaurs in the mix. But that would hurt the plates, since they're used to a thicker body plan, more of an oval. So that's why we have to add armadillo DNA to make each plate thinner, but without compromising strength. So now it kind of rests on top of the other bones instead of being connected to them. This thing is probably one of my favorite hybrid designs. I feel like in a pack of 2 to 3, it could take down the Indom 2.0. Now, let's get into a different hybrid of mine that isn't really for battling. It's more for my hybrid universe, cointivity. It's called the Sea Strider. Now, that will be on screen from now on. So, what we notice, it has a shell, it has a long neck, and it has a shark tail. This thing only has like 5 animals in it, because it's not for battling. It's more of a DNA thing to just be living in the universe. Now, let's get into the DNA of the sea strider. So, originally, the sea strider had dolphin DNA, but when I drew it with a shark tail, which would actually help the teeth on the mouth. Also, the shark DNA makes it much thinner and gives it more of a shoulder joint for its fin. The other is sea otter for the hind legs and the claws on the fins. And it gives it tiny, cute little whiskers, which I don't mind. The leatherback sea turtle is for the armor on its back. But since the shark DNA, the armor is thinner, so this thing can turn better instead of turning its whole body like a disc. And then obviously you can kind of guess the main body is a plesiosaur. So now with the mouth, we have barracuda DNA, which also makes the fins worse. I know. But then it makes the teeth better, because the barracuda DNA mixed with the shark DNA makes them a little thicker. And mixed with the plesiosaur mouth, this thing can clamp and hold on to things. This thing might look tame, but if you go up to it, it's probably gonna slash you with its hind legs or front fins that have claws. The claws are mainly for deterring other animals from getting close to it. They don't really serve a purpose in the actual swimming ability. But I'd rate this one a 5 out of 10. I'd rate the Troodon Rex 2.0 a 8.5 out of 10 on the scale of my hybrids. But we all know I'd have to rate Locke, which I have made better in new art for that I'm going to show on screen right now. You see, way better than before. But he's gotta be a 10.2. And if we look at my new video that's gonna be the refurbished Locke, I'm gonna add more DNA contributors to not Locke, but I'm gonna add the defects and more upgrades from his main counterparts of his original DNA. Hope y'all like this video. If you like my content of hybrids and kaiju, smash the like button. If you want to see the rest of my hybrids in my kaiju videos, chew the subscribe button, because we're a goat family. Bye.